Why does being 17 feel like the whole world is conspiring against you, while everyone else gets to coast through life effortlessly? Hey, it's Darcy from Ladies First, and today we're talking about The Edge of 17 and how it captures the raw reality of teenage anxiety and self-discovery without any of the feel-good fantasy we usually expect. The Edge of 17 follows Nadine Franklin, a whip-smart 17-year-old who's convinced there are only two types of people in the world: the people who naturally excel at life and the people who hope all those people die in a big explosion. When her best friend Krista starts dating her popular older brother Darian, Nadine's world implodes. Already struggling after losing her father at 13, the one person who truly understood her, this betrayal becomes the final straw that pushes her toward a breaking point. The film doesn't sugarcoat adolescence as the defining time of your life. Instead, director Kelly Fremon Craig presents teenage years as a frustrating, discouraging stage full of gigantic highs, but largely a transitory learning experience. Nadine isn't your typical movie teenager. She's awkward, narcissistic, and deeply insecure. She's also charismatic, witty, and surprisingly vulnerable. What makes this story so compelling is how it refuses to diminish teenage problems. The movie shows us that Nadine's pain isn't just typical teenage drama. It's the result of years of feeling like the less favored child, losing her emotional anchor when her father died, and then watching her last source of support drift away. Craig understands that when you're 17, these feelings are your entire reality, and dismissing them as just a phase misses the point entirely. Here's where the film gets really interesting. Nadine copes with her crushing anxiety by becoming completely self-centered. She's a narcissist who thinks she's always right, viewing other people as obstacles who are somehow privileged enough to glide through life while she has to struggle for everything. This narcissism makes Nadine quite unlikable at times, but it's also her survival mechanism. When you feel constantly under attack, sometimes the only way to protect yourself is to put yourself first. The problem is that this strategy ultimately backfires, isolating her even further. Take her reaction to Krista and Darian's relationship. Most people might be surprised, but eventually happy for their best friend finding love. Nadine is incapable of such understanding. She cruelly forces Krista to choose between Darian and their friendship. There's no middle ground, no compromise. It's all or nothing because Nadine can't bear to share the one person who makes her feel less alone. The film shows how depression can turn you into your own worst enemy. Nadine sabotages potentially good relationships, lashes out at people trying to help her, and wallows in self-pity. But it also shows the very real circumstances that feed this behavior: feeling invisible, losing her father, and having her support system crumble. What's brilliant is how the film finds humor in Nadine's self-centeredness without mocking her pain. Her astonishing personality and the futility of her narcissistic worldview become sources of both comedy and empathy. The film's approach to healing is refreshingly realistic. It doesn't happen through grand gestures or sudden realizations, but through small, authentic connections with people who refuse to let Nadine's defenses push them away. Enter Mr. Bruner, her disgruntled teacher played perfectly by Woody Harrelson. He becomes Nadine's unlikely saving grace, meeting her sarcasm with equal wit while constantly deflating her selfishness. Their relationship is the movie's funniest and most surprising element, showing that sometimes the people who challenge us most are the ones who care about us most. Then there's Erwin, the sweet classmate who sees past Nadine's prickly exterior. While she initially overlooks him for Nick, the pretty bad boy who represents everything she thinks she wants, she gradually realizes that being truly seen and appreciated might be more valuable than being desired by someone who barely knows her. The film shows how Nadine learns to recognize authenticity in others. She sees Erwin's genuine artistic passion, Mr. Bruner's selfless dedication to his students, and even discovers her brother Darian's honest commitment to their family. These people don't just tolerate Nadine's flaws, they help her see how her selfishness has been hurting both herself and others. What's remarkable is how the film shows that emotional growth isn't linear. Nadine has setbacks, makes devastating mistakes, and sometimes takes steps backward. But each connection, each moment of genuine understanding builds towards something better. The Edge of 17 captures something essential about the outsider experience that most teen movies completely miss. Nadine isn't an outsider because she's weird or different. She's an outsider because she refuses to pretend everything is fine when it's not. The film shows two very different approaches to dealing with life's difficulties. Nadine's mother offers this advice.
Here's what I do when I'm feeling down. I get very quiet and very still. And I say to myself, everyone in the world is as miserable and empty as I am. They're just better at pretending.
It's tempting to adopt this bitter consolation, but the film suggests this isn't the answer. Nadine doesn't want to become a disingenuous adult who's just better at pretending. She'd rather be authentically miserable than fake happiness. While this makes her life harder, it also makes her more real, more relatable, and ultimately more capable of genuine connection. The movie suggests that being an outsider can be both a burden and a gift. Yes, Nadine struggles with social connections, but her outsider perspective also gives her unique insights into human behavior. She sees through social pretenses and recognizes authenticity in unexpected places. Her journey isn't about becoming popular or fitting in. It's about learning that other people matter and that authentic relationships are worth the vulnerability they require. The film shows that the age of 17 isn't a dead end, but a launching pad to a happier adulthood, if you're willing to get out of your own head and see the best in people. What makes the age of 17 so powerful is its commitment to emotional honesty. This movie presents adolescence as a frustrating but necessary learning experience, a bridge to something better, not a destination. The film also addresses mental health in a remarkably authentic way. Nadine clearly struggles with depression and anxiety, and we see how her pain manifests in real, dangerous ways, contemplating offing herself, putting herself in risky situations, and sabotaging relationships. But the movie never makes her mental health struggles the sole focus. Instead, it weaves them into her character naturally, showing how depression can make you your own worst enemy while also revealing the circumstances that feed it. What's brilliant is how the film finds genuine humor in Nadine's situation without ever mocking her pain. Her sharp wit, charismatic personality, and the absurdity of some of her choices become sources of both laughter and empathy. When she accidentally sends Nick that hilariously cringy message about her sexual desires, it's funny precisely because we've all done something mortifyingly awkward when we're trying too hard. The movie validates teenage emotions without condescending to its audience. It shows that being 17 can feel impossibly difficult while suggesting that these struggles aren't meaningless. They're teaching us empathy, resilience, and the value of authentic connection. The film's final message isn't that everything gets easier, but that we get better at handling life's difficulties. We learn to see what's good in others, to appreciate people who are unafraid to be themselves, and to recognize that the people worth caring about are often the ones who challenge us to grow. Now, I want to hear from you. What were you like when you were 17? And could you relate to Nadine's story? Let me know in the comments. And if you love deep dives into female coming-of-age stories, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to Ladies First.